Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back up here. And we're going to talk about a very sensitive topic in there and um, talk about this situations, these energies currently, and the way these questions that come to us. Yeah, I think that the community needs it. We're going to be talking about emotionally unavailability. And what does that mean? That when you are in a relationship, you cannot sustain the relationship because you're emotionally unavailable. Um, the topic came in as a questions in there. That came in from Maria Sparkmama. What a name. Hi guys, I have a general questions. How to recognize if a man is emotionally available? I was told that I attract unavailable men due to my abandonment wounds. How to know the difference? So that's what we're going to be discussing it today. Hi, Lorna. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to begin with this. I'm going to pass the mic to Paulina. So I'm going to open up this beautiful discussions of here, guys.
Mhm. Yeah. Hi, Lorna. Good to see you here, and hi to everyone who's joining the chat. Yeah, I found this question interesting because that's for many people, this is the area where they have to heal and what they have to learn. Because even for me, I realized that if you tend to attract or tend to even have interest in unavailable partners, very often it's for your own safety. This is like a safety mechanism because it's easier to be involved in the connection if you don't have to open fully, especially if you have some insecurities with yourself and you tend to keep distance for people because you're afraid to show your vulnerability. You will be attracting those people because you can just stay in your cave, and it's better for you to stay in those kind of shadow situations instead of really try to build some close connection with someone. So I think, if anything, that's a very good area for healing for you if you decide or if you notice that you have these tendencies and you tend to be attracted to people who are treating you at a distance, or they're unavailable, they are not clear about their intentions. It's a very good start to begin, first to try to understand yourself and why do you really crave for or look for those kinds of connections, because they may at the beginning they may feel to be safe because you don't have to reveal everything. You are just kind of in this in between situations. You don't have to make up your mind. The other partner is doing the same. Like, you both don't know where it stands and it's kind of floating in between. But in reality, I just cannot build anything strong and solid in those kinds of situations. So if anything, I wanted to start that, it's very good when person recognizes that, oh, this is a problem, instead of focusing or attracting people who are ready to build something with me. I tend to attract in my life just people who just cannot fully open with me. They are not interested in anything serious, and they kind of to always keep their options open or their back door open. So just that's to begin with. With the general thought, it's that it's very nice to start seeing those tendencies with yourself.
Did you hear her? Starting from within yourself, you're gonna hear it this more and more. We've been talking about this stuff more and more, and it's about you. But I want to begin to answer the questions. Is like, when do you know that the man is emotionally available? Not unavailable, but available. The man is expressing his emotions. The way that the man is expressing his emotions pretty much is the dream of every woman in there. Whether the woman cooking, the man to go ahead and just give her a hug or kiss, or uh, the man when it's like, okay, baby, let me get in there. He's expressing these emotions of love, maybe help you to clean, maybe the support that getting in there. He's expressing how he feels. He's expressing what is going on, and so on and so on. He's sharing with you pretty much everything. Some of the females have a tendencies like because they cannot share, they begin to say the tendencies of, oh, are you oversharing because they cannot share. You need to in right there in the psychology when you go through this. For it, there is a lot of things. But when you to understand the man is expressing his emotions, ver, they can be vocally by expressing it in there, and they're going to feel vulnerable. You need to understand the emotionally available man, he is vulnerable. He understands the word vulnerability in there because he understands how bad it is to hide the true self from it. And the man is going to be expressing his true self through emotions, through energies, but he's going to do one thing. You need to understand it, to look for it in there is the action. His word becomes actions. That's when he's emotionally available because his emotions are available for the actions in there from within. But then the second part of the question that was is like because I am attracting emotionally unavailable. Look inside of you for it because some of the people they're open to the energies. They feel the energies because the energies are all over to us. You can be awakened, but if you are emotionally unavailable, you have a hard time to read the energies, what they represent for it. There is some a lot of things that specifically with this topic, it's kind of like a hot because it's leading to a lot of connections to so many things. Your cultural background, your psychology within yourself. What is your uh, inside of you that you've been developed within yourself? Because you can express emotions, you can fake it to make it. But if you fake it till you make it because you're not available, that emotions to your own self, you're attracting those mans in there for it. And usually that is something that you need to be looking at on a more deeply level of where it's coming from. That can lead also to a grown up wounded child situations. That's mean you recognize the thing, but since you're wounded as a child, you have not healing inner child wounds for it. So uh, you are told. If you were told by someone because of that, that's mean that you were talking to someone. They're probably a psychologist professional in there, but the energy is going to be asking you to lead into this, especially within a soul connection. Remember, the soul connection triggers absolutely everything that is not okay. Yeah, it's not a something you hear about it. But in this case, for it, because you want to discuss in this, it is about you become emotionally available. That will attract you become the healthy personality. That healthy personality is going to bring you the healthy person. But before you do that, you have to be have this um, emotional intelligence that it's coming from your spiritual intelligence, not for what your life was, not from the what the culture or religion or wherever it sets you up and there. And I'll be happy if you guys have some questions on this topic because that's a hot one for it.
Mhm.
So get back to you, darling.
Yeah, I had a few ideas when you were talking. First, I wanted to talk about maybe just to break this cycle, like why it happens, like once you start recognizing like something is not right, instead of um, dealing with healthy people, I'm just kind of tend to attract the ones that they are in stages indecisive. And I think as as I said before, like partially is just it happens when you're not ready to have an open communication because for whatever reason you keep yourself in this mindset. And instead of, I tried to answer this question in the group, but I think it's worth expanding because it's just you begin with that, but then the next step is once you recognize it's not the proper thing, you put the standards. So you set the standards that from now on you want to be dealing just with emotionally available people. And I think the problem with those connections for people, instead of really recognizing the person that they are dealing with, they try to believe that someone will change instead of really just sometimes you have to step out of this because it's that's sometimes that's the only thing, the only way to show the right signal, just show the right energy through the proper action. So if you know that you're dealing with someone who is not ready to commit, and that's gonna be sensitive because sometimes it happens it's your twin. You have to be ready to keep those standards to yourself and say, okay, whether it's my twin or catalyst, whether it's the soul guided connection, it doesn't matter. It's not serving me because I choose to develop those healthy emotional skills. I choose to evolve. So sometimes it's as painful as just setting yourself those higher standards and keeping them even for the sake of emotional relationship. Sometimes it's just the kind of recognizing it that it's just not serving a purpose. It keeps you in this cycle. And as long as you're kind of chasing after someone, wishing that someone will change, like you're just repeating the same cycle instead of showing yourself that, oh, I've recognized that I'm matured enough because I know I plan to engage in some close connection. I'm done with those games or chasing. People tend to have those things that you have to go through runner chaser dynamics because this is twin flame connection. And honestly, you will be involved in those runner chaser dynamics as long as you want to be involved with them. But if you say to yourself that I'm done, this how long I have to chase after someone if someone is not interested, you break the cycle. So honestly, it's like it's up to you when you break this cycle. And I think the hardest part is just to keep those promises to yourself and don't be afraid to cut the connection if it's not serving you, if it creates those confusions with your mind. Yeah, so maybe you want to add something to this.
There is a lot more. I mean, this thing is like a, what is it called? Pandora's box. Once you open it, it's like everything can come out of there. For it. Talking about these cases of runner chasers, talking about this emotionally unavailable. Some of the people in some of the cases I worked and some of the personal experience actually in there, you can be emotionally available, but the partner is not emotionally available. And when the partner is not emotionally available, sometimes this partner fakes that out. And then when they faking it out, sooner or later the truths come out. But that is a lesson for it. It's like looking at into the actions isn't there. But primarily, look at your own actions. If you are emotionally unavailable in there, why you are not available? I mean, I'm looking at and I've seen it through over the years. Even that right now, that actually, Lorna, thank you for the question that you pumped that out. Could this be a toxic family and or central traits as well? Oh my God, that is downloaded at the same time to what's going on tonight. Man, ooh, this is a big one. Ooh, come on. Still ringing the years. Lately he's been watching so much 11:11 and the whole energy of Twin Flames just goes up to the roof, which is good. Collectively is great. But talking about that, it's so many cases, and some of the cases that I work with, some of the people that I work with, it is a family situation. It's passing in through the family. I made investigations even further. I did some studies with from a psychologist, and not only one, because the way I verify information is not only to a one source, but multiple sources when they repeat the same information. Even medical researches that has been done through all this process, some of this it is because the DNA was already encoded to that. Some of the people they are damaged about these emotions because of within the DNA. Some of the people though are damaged because of passing the lack of the learning of the growth and those traits, those toxic traits in there, which is they are emotionally unavailable. Because if you don't learn the emotions, you're not growing. You don't feeling what you need to do at this current moment present of time. That's what means emotionally unavailable. You cannot sustain a relationships because you don't know what to do with it. Guess from where you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to do it from your childhood, from your first relationship. That's a mother and father. If there was a abuse between mother and father towards a child in there, then the situations are coming in very hard because the child frozen in time. And every time when they are in the relationships, they go back to this frozen time and they don't know what to do. And that takes a lot of guts, a lot of things that it needs to be looked. And I work a lot with people. I had and still coming in, and there's people of uh, a daughter, mother, grandmother, or a son, father, or mother situations is in there down to the tree lines in there. You're finding out that the grandparents was the one who actually started this, that is affecting now you and so on for it. But the emotionally unavailability, that it's coming in from the lack of fear of exposing your true self, first of all, to you, because you are afraid that if the truth comes out, the things is gonna get bad. And then you're trying to navigate this process, but the truth is truth. Sooner or later, it's coming out to you, it's coming out to the person, and so on and so on. You can't do that in there, but that is actually the healing. Once the truth is coming out in there, you're like, I don't know this. I have not learned this. You can learn it as long as you're open to learn it, and that is the part of the growth. Not like you're trying to pretend, you try to running the show, you're trying to control, and the only escape, the only things that I see, that a lot of the people begin to trying to manipulate the stuff. So the person cannot figure this out. You will figure it out sooner or later. That's what happens, and in that emotionally unavailability process for. And one more thing I wanted to add. Hi, Grande. Um, those toxic family situations isn't there. Uh, the one of the best thing it is first of all, get away from that environment. If you stay in a toxic family in there, one of the greatest thing it is because when you get off from that environment, because if you're living in the same place, and so on. You're in that gravity, you're in that energy. That energy constantly around you isn't there. And then you begin to do heal, and then you begin to develop the emotions that you're missing. You begin to learn it, but you begin to practice it. If you have not learned how to receive love, give love. If you have a love that you didn't receive as a grown-up child, find a child that you can give that love so you can feel that energy when you give the love to that little child. You may be just a child in the playground or a child at the coffee shop or however in your case might be, but you're gonna be sending that love to this child, and this child is gonna show you that love back towards you. And that is the love that it's missing with you. And you're going to feel it. Oh, that's how that love feels like it. And now you're going to be able to give and receive. it is all about you to learn to give and receive, actually, because that way you cooperate within the energies and so yeah, that's how I got so much stuff more to add to this, but this is a kind of like ooh, a big topic and there because it's a lot to go on for it. So, darling, if you have something to
Yeah,
add, baby.
I wanted to add more about this family situation because it can be that's where we learn in the first place. So I think it's pretty common for people who didn't have a proper example from the family, and for example their parents were not available. We tend to repeat the same mistakes because it's not really a mistake. Of course, when you're growing up, you will keep looking for a partner, and you will be looking for something that feels familiar. So if your dad or mom they were unavailable, that's how you where you feel safe, so you will feel unsafe, or even it will be too much for you if someone would be really open with their emotions. You may be questioning whether they are really meaning it or they are faking it, because for you you just don't know how to act in those kinds of situations. So you will be even guarding yourself against those things, or you will be seeing them as unattractive, or you will be trying to find excuses to cut those kinds of connections, or you kind of protect yourself from those people, because they may feel, oh, too much, like why they are suddenly so emotional towards me, are they real, like, and on top of that there is always, or very very often, some self-worth issues. So of course, like, you will be even maybe doubting those people who want to be available towards you, but instead you prefer to choose where it's safe, what is known. So you tend to go back to the old cycles, right? So I think it's, if we have those backgrounds, and again, the only way is to do your studies and know that that's what happens very very often, and just in order to relearn and just give yourself this proper example, because someone has to give it to you, so you have to give it to you. Check, based on the psychology, what it means if someone is available, how it should look like, and just, I think it goes hand by hand by just developing a little bit of this sense of self-worth, and knowing that someone may actually be interested in you, and they don't have to lie, or they don't have any second plans in their head, like they are just truthful. And the more you will be developing this mindset, the more those kinds of people will start attracting, the ones that are ready to show, and you will begin to start trusting those. Sometimes it's as much as just begin to trust others, that maybe assume that what you feel, or what you hear from other people, maybe that's what they mean. So it's a little bit of different things, but definitely family impact. Like, we are supposed to break the cycle. So even if throughout your generations you could see in your family people tend to have those kinds of partners, like, you can be the first one to actually change it. So I think this is pretty exciting. It's a bit hard because it really requires programming a little bit, but it can be done. And one more thing I wanted to say is, unfortunately, we tend to lose interest in the partners if they are so, let's call it, like, easy to get into. For whatever reason, we as people, sometimes we consider even as more attractive people that we have to fight for, people who choose to not to deal with us and not even be ready to be with us, but we are chasing, and because we want to prove ourselves, that, oh, I can get this person, he or she says that he's not interested, but I'm gonna prove myself and everyone different way. So instead of wasting your energy, you just have to step back and say, okay, like, you're not meant to chase, you can just switch your interest. And so I think that's a little bit of a hassle, that people just like to fight for their partners.
Good one because of that chasing in there about it. There's uh, the chasers and the runner, they're both missing for it. The one runs because he knows he cannot provide, The other one is running because he cannot receive. And since it's been the triggers he comes in, they think that, okay, I have to get into this for it. And it's the same thing that I can see here. I was told that I attract an unavailable man due to my abandonment wounds. Here is the one thing. I did training up here about 3 days ago, and I had the person up here just like write 5, 6 questions. And then I asked him, how would you answer those questions to yourself? You're going to know that you know the answers inside of you for it. And specifically when it comes into the twin flame situations. Because what you're asking the questions is leading you straight, directly towards it, the answer. I cannot do this. And right away it comes in, why you cannot do this? And it comes in the solutions. Okay, now I know the why. Now I have to understand how to do it. And you look at it and you do it in there. It is the same thing, is how to know the difference. The difference is there is as I said, and there, the right emotionally available man, he's gonna tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly with himself. Like he's gonna be saying one more thing. I'm gonna be working on me. I'm gonna be fixing what is not right with him. You're gonna find out that the emotionally available men, they keeping their word first for themselves. And then, like it or not, they're gonna be in their heaviest times, but they're gonna be next to you for it. They're gonna be supporting it. They are available because they understand your emotions isn't there. As long as you are open to it. You need to understand when there is no truth in there. It's felt this pressure, while the energies between the two individuals have to flow free. And if they're not free, there is something in there that needs to be worked out. Once it's worked out, because we're experiencing some here, these situations with Paulina, all of a sudden everything goes beautiful, right? Because now the next level, higher level of emotions, they are available. We're all wounded here, one way or another. We're all wounded. Previous relationship, mother relationship, father relationships. We're all wounded it somehow, some way. Maybe uh, child wounds, maybe teenager wounds, maybe some, you know, you came here to study lessons as a karmic lessons. However, there is this is just like a topic that opens another billions of topics for it. But the main thing to understanding how to know the difference is one thing. And I stated that before, that masculine energy is going to be honest with everything that it's in there and absolutely everything that it goes on, and they are going to do one thing. If they support you, they back up with actions. If they are going to do some inner work, they back up with actions. If they do something, they do it with actions. The both sides does that. Even the masculine and the feminine side within them is gonna be, because they are gonna be showing the vulnerabilities of feminine energies, but they are also is gonna be showing up. I can do it. It's not like this emotionally unavailable person who says, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done," and so on. I'm gonna get that, and all of a sudden it's just like even after a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, they have not done it yet. Why? Because they don't feel the emotions to do it. Some of the people who are with frozen emotions for whatever wounds are is in there, and I've seen it. The people that I've been talking to it for, especially within the twin flame, because that energy is just comes in all at once. It just triggers a lot of things in there. And if the other side, it is just doesn't want to have nothing to do with you, all of a sudden you begin to be like frozen. How come this person can do this to me? I give them all the love, I give them everything and so on, and now this person is unemotional and unavailable. Why are they not available? They're not available because inside of it, of the emotional unavailable person, there is a trigger, there is a something that they have not overcome yet for that particular emotion or couple emotions. They may be not capable to love. They may be not capable of intimacy. They may be not capable of feeling empathy because that empathy or love or intimacy or whatever it is, whatever the situations might be, got frozen in time and they're scared out of it. But when they go back in there and they see that right now they're grown up and they're like, okay, that was back in a time. Now, currently at the present time, it's not like this. Then the journeys of the twin flames, it comes in to help you to heal that. And this is what you should follow in there, as long as there is a clear, honest, truthful conversations and communications, of course, because you're going to feel it, the energy. Okay. You're going to feel it, the energy. You're going to know about it, and so on and so on. But man, this topic is just so big. So big. And I love that topic for it. Because most of the time, the people they're looking outside them down. But whoever told you that because you are an emotionally been wounded isn't there for it, Spark Mama, I will go look at it from deep within the bones, see what it is there. What is that wound for it? Because the wound in there has its pill. I stated this long time ago. I think like 2, 3 years ago when I began to study narcissism and psychology and all that dark stuff of the humanity in there to see and understand this, because all of a sudden all this came out in the surface more and more and more and more and more for it, even to the point that the people trying to pushing that, okay, you should accept the narcissism as a normal thing. No, you should not. You should actually be honest to you and honoring the stuff that is inside of you in there and have them matured for it. But looking at within that experience in the twin flame, when it comes in, the twin flame comes in to heal it, to point you out to this dark room. Because usually, in that case, the one person, you can study that in psychology. Go ahead and do it. That you are more than welcome to study psychology because that can help you for it. They say like this: the person who is emotionally unavailable tries to bring you inside of their own cage. So that way, they're not gonna be alone in that cage, but they're still gonna be the cage. That's gonna be in this closing environment, which is they pick it up and they can control and do it in there. Well, actually, the connections is there is to get you out of that jail and you to be free. And it's not easy, but it's available for it. And that's what that is the case. Some people will do, some people will not. And that is not a choice. That is actually part of the journeys in there as evolutionary part. But look what you knew. For it, you probably maybe I'm talking about Spark Mama. You're probably gonna need some um, professionals in there that needs to look more deeply what is going on. I only think is that my advice is to you. I mean, you can always look in at your chart and stuff and energies, but uh, the way I see it is like, yeah. But it's a very good topic. I like the question. Actually, I love that. So, darling, if you have anything to add, hi, Grande. Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to add that, you mentioned the good thing about these cages, because this is like not really a healthy dynamic where we have this person who is unavailable, at the same time we have another person who has abandonment issues. And actually that's what I wanted to talk more, how the abandonment issues are showing in your relationships, because people who have troubles with feeling abandoned, or they have that's their biggest fear, they will be kind of keeping themselves out of the proper open relationships, because they it's safer this way. You know, you cannot be abandoned if you are not even close with the person. So what ends up happening is just people are getting engaged in very loose, like, connections. I wouldn't even call it relationships. It's like you find a partner or a person that you're kind of next to each other, and you're going through life together, but none of you are not getting close enough to create a proper bond, because one person cannot give this emotional openness, and another person is just, you're not even really craving, like, you're not showing interest to that because you're afraid to open up yourself, and you just keep being in this kind of a distant relationship. And it may feel safe for you if you're afraid of being abandoned, but in some time you will see that that's something is missing in this relationship. And the only way to really become yourself available is just to go against this fear of abandonment. Because, you know, I can even share, like, I'm not sure I should, if I should share my personal experience, but I had the issues with that. You know, I was afraid of being abandoned. And what happened is I had this catalytic experience which got me open, and that triggered everything. And of course, this big love, I got myself available just for the sake of getting abandoned, you know. And all this story, I could see how all of this, you know, story unfolded the moment that I got blocked. You know, I got in this bad situation when we got into separation. And that was the coldest shower that I have ever got. But, you know, I faced my biggest fear, because I was always really afraid of being abandoned. And what happened? It happened from the person that I trusted so much. You know, so it may really feel sometimes hurtful, but, you know, the way this journey unfolds is you have to learn those hard lessons. Because, you know, the best thing from all of this is just once you go through those experiences, you can see that you're fine, you survived, and it's, you just get stronger, and you will see, okay, what was the issue? The issue is I was living in this illusion that, you know, everything is just all sugar and, you know, beautiful and pink. And of course there are risks, there are bad moments, people can fail you, but you are going through the life, and you're just learning to, you know, accept yourself still, you know, no matter the situation. You stop taking things for granted, and you see, okay, that happened because probably I overlooked something. Or, you know, all those lessons tend to surface once you're facing those situations. But overall, the lesson is just, if you want to experience those deep emotions, you have to be open for bad and good ones. And it's just, you know, this is life. Like, if you keep yourself safe from experiencing deep emotions, both positive, negative, like deep love, but also you can have deep loss, you know. So it's just, and deep pain. So that's what I've learned, you know. The more I started opening for, or accepting those negative sides, you know, those painful sides, I saw that also my heart was opening for the good one. So I don't know, it's very important thing that I've realized, that I was keeping myself in the cage, and I preferred to walk next to someone who clearly, like, didn't even, I it's not the blaming. It's this person couldn't, I think this person didn't develop it himself, you know. So I was safe with that. He was okay with me, because we were kind of, it was still balanced somehow, let's say balanced relationship. We didn't fight, but it was not complete. Like, there was no emotions in there. So, you know, hopefully that maybe for some people that could be a good example how you sometimes just have to face this fear. You know, of course people can fail you, of course people can abandon you, but are you gonna live in a fear that it can happen, or are you gonna train yourself to not care so much? You know, you're still you on your own, and you can go through all of these things if necessary, of course. You can add something if you want.
Oh my God, there is so much I can add that it's just like um no tomorrow probably of the people have a lot of questions of this topic. We can talk a lot. It's been talked a lot, and reminds me about the people I worked with in there. There was one particular case that came to me for it. That was a medically and it was confirmed by psychologists. Situations isn't there, and they asked me, "Do you?" And clearly, the psychologist doesn't understand the things within the twin flames for it, which is that's what eventually even the psychologists they need understanding about the twin flames these days for it. And what I suggest to the person who worked, that was about self-love, teaching the self-love, not that egoism, not that lower realms energies in there, because it begins with you for it. It begins with you, the parent towards the kids, or it begins with you as a kid that you develop towards your parent. There is a lot of this about kids, parents situations for it. But don't forget that your parents, they learn from somewhere else. And here is a common and one great thing I'm gonna be telling you is forgive your parents because your parents was wounded as your grandparents was. Through the study that was done for it, all came back down that during the World War II, that's back in the last century, in there, it doesn't matter where you were living, the effects of the World War II, they were everywhere. In the United States, that is about the Great Depression's situation for it uh, throughout the Europe. My God, it's all over the place, including Asia, and so on. And it was about that after the war, the people focus so much within the survival, it creates the fear of survival. There was this anger management, there was this anger, there was this destructions that lead the people to a massive aggravations and lack of empathy, lack of a lot of things. And the younger people back then who are born in their 20 they were born at 1920s, and they begin to rebuild the world. Later on the 50s, they begin to have kids and so on. And all they had is that fear of this, that it comes in. It was passing to the generations that was born in the late 50s, 60s in there. And then these generations, they have another generations that is born. That could be you talking about the 70s and the 80s is in there. And then that generation have another generations that we see all those patterns and that fear. And the healing part is self-love. You to love yourself, you to love the world, you to love your experiences, you to be understanding first to you. And then when you have the self-love and you're like, I am by myself, I'm enough. And if it's meant to be, I'll attract someone healthy enough like I am, then the things begin. But that is what the triggers of the twin flames journey is. You to look at it, everything that it's there, that it's not truth, you to become the truth. Twin Flames comes in the right time in there. I was watching one video even today that somebody was like, I didn't know what it was, Twin Flame, and to me this is a just blah blah blah. But until I met my twin flame, and that's what happens for it. Until they engage within this form. But emotionally unavailability is the same thing as energy unavailable because the emotions, those are the energies expressions. You can feel the energies around you. It's like you need the energies from other people. You can feel the gravitations. You can feel the knowledge. You can feel that for it. The lack of the expressions is inside of it. You cannot produce that emotions to become this energy. The energy is creating that magnetic field as a gravity. The gravitations becomes the informations that other people feel. And then through that informations, to that magnetic pull and push, we are socializing. But at the same time, the magnetic pull is actually what puts you together, that beauty within yourself. And you may have to relearn some of those because they were learned improperly for it. But over the time, you need to be grateful for that experience that it comes to you as a twin flame that kind of like a point you out you to be an emotionally available because usually that's what it happens. When you get ignited, you begin to express your emotions like nobody loves you, but only God can love you more than I do. What kind of love expression is that? Right? We're talking about that's what happens within the twin flames, and that. But yeah, we can talk more about this. But maybe if you want to add something or so on, that'll be
Yeah, I wanted to add one more thing regarding this availability and wounding. In terms of energies, the balance between feminine and masculine, because of course, like it's not always the case that the men are unavailable and the women have, abandonment issues. It can go both ways. So that's one thing I wanted to clarify. But it's more, it looks to me that unavailable partners have, maybe they are not in touch with their feminine sides as much, because you're just kind of keeping it separate. And that's why it happens that most of the cases it's males that are unavailable, while in terms of wound issues, I think it's like lack of masculine energy. So that's why many women are struggling, but we can juggle it. Those things are, and those situations depends on a case. But in both cases we can see that those unhealthy dynamics are formed when there is no balance. Someone is lacking feminine in themselves and someone is lacking the masculine. So if you have issues with abandonment, are you afraid of abandonment? Where is your masculine power as an individuality, right? And if you're not in touch with your emotions, you're unavailable. Like, where is your touch in feminine? So it's just, you can see how, by, it's not about looking at someone else's feminine disbalance. Is more okay, let's see the situations from the side. It always helps, just detach emotionally and see what the dynamic you're dealing with. Are you not really pointing fingers towards the other person, like what are my imbalances, like what am I missing? And I really like to analyze myself from those feminine and masculine sides, because it can tell you a lot. And only it's just, if you're getting those missing parts of yourself, you're working on yourself, but at the same time you stop attracting those unhealthy dynamics because you're going into balanced state, so you don't need to attract the extremes and opposites anymore. So I think if anything, in terms of how I can stop attracting those people, is just work on your balance.
getting a shocks up here to my spines, talking about those energy. Boy, or I don't know, probably that's what the energies are calling for. A few days ago, we talk about particularly about this feminine, masculine energies, and so on. So here is what that I'm encountering over and over and over. The one individual has, for example, a healthy masculine in there. The other person has a healthy feminine in there. So they kind of like attract to each other for it, but they're lacking the other energy. So when they're lacking the other energies, what they're lacking for it, because they don't know how to operate it for it in there, uh, then it begins the issue. So, for example, if that is a feminine with a lot of masculine energies, and she needs to touch base with her feminine side, For it, she developed what? That a lack of feminism that's not touch base within her emotions and so on and so on. While the masculine side in there, he sees that masculine development within a female that he's looking for. And now it's like, why am I attracting it? All this, why they cannot be healthy feminine, healthy masculine, and then all this is to understand what are the traits are within yourself about the masculine and the feminine. If you're there at that lower realms, that lower situations, they're going to be triggering you to rise up. And there, but throughout the relationship, okay, throughout the situations within the relationships, that's how you heal. You recognize what you need to do. You recognize what is, first of all, what is not great within yourself. And the people, 90% of the time, I've been dealing with this for years and years and years. And 90% of the time is my twin. For crying out loud, when are you gonna be getting yourself in order and start? It's like, it's me. I'm looking at within me. I'm looking at within my side for it. I'm not blaming him or her, and so on and so on and so on for it. Because everything begins within you. When you fix yourself and you show up that you fix yourself, you become that emotionally available. You become that responsible. You get that energies right and so on and so on. And you back it up with the actions that actually matching the energies flow. Then you learn what love is because everything flows with that love and you enjoy it. The enjoyment of this journey is great for that. But get the wisdom to yourself first to look within you. Because 90% of the people there is my twin doesn't do this. My twin doesn't do that. I did all this and my twin doesn't do. Did you did for a purpose or you did for some other situations isn't there? So there is, I mean, this topic is just, I mean, because it's involving everything within emotions in there. And man, we can talk for hours. We can talk this for like a uh, over and over. I keep seeing it, throughout the years, like these flashback reviews of the Twin Flames journey, even when I started. It's like a one
We'll
complete.
do part two for this video. I feel like we're gonna continue. We're not gonna be talking for 3 hours, but it's a very
Yeah,
good topic.
it's a very
And
good
one thing
topic.
came to me,
Yeah, go ahead.
mm, if people start healing themselves, the problem is that they may attract someone else that is healthy, actually healthy and balanced. And there is a problem because it's not their twin flame. So they will be, oh my god, it's not my twin flame. I'm healing. I was supposed to attract my twin flame back. Instead, I'm attracting different person. I'm not interested in this person because I'm waiting for my twin because they promised me that my twin will be back when I'm in balance. So it's just, I don't know. I think I will use this video as a chance to remind people that they can have more twin flames, more twin flame dynamics connections. As you grow, as you are balanced, don't expect your twin or your original person just go after you, because those people you can just evolve faster than they do. So don't keep yourself in this limited cage. If you're faster in this evolution, just accept it, embrace it, and don't get attached to this person if they have different pace of evolution, because you're not doing anything wrong. And if you're with you in union with yourself, that's internal union. Be proud of yourself and don't wait for other people to join you. Just go ahead and see what else is there. So that was just the only thing I wanted to say, because I think how for many people they will be I where is my twin? I'm all healthy, and this person, it looks healthy, but it's not my twin. So that's a problem.
I'm laughing as many as you need. That was it, the message from Lorna.
Oh, thank you,
Uh,
Grande.
and
Thank
Divine
you, Lorna.
STF. There you go. That's
Mm.
what I was about to kind of like a close down with following after you, darling, is that if you look at your previous soul connections, isn't there? They were preparing you. And I stated that long time ago. Who is your twin flame? Only you and the divine knows. That's it. You, your needs, your desires, and all your progress, maybe pick and choose. That's my twin flame. And you pointed out now the divine has been there. Sometimes even if the divine energies are there and for the other person doesn't choose you. And then if they don't choose you to be and continue development that in there, so the divine says like, okay, fine, I give you the best thing is out there in the world. If you didn't get it, it doesn't happen. Or for whatever reason, the journey is not going. And then the divine says like, okay, here, I'm going to put you in directions. You're going to be evolved and so on. And there, and you meet another connection. You're like, okay, well, this next connection is more stronger than the one I had before. You evolving. Then you get another one, and you're like, what the heck? Until the one connection is that you're gonna find internal peace within a soul with the divine and a partner. And then you're really gonna find out the real internal work between you with you and with them within them. You're gonna understand their internal their internal work of what they do is their internal work. And you're gonna be only there for support, giving a space and giving a love until they get the things that it gets done. It's the same thing they're gonna be doing the same thing for you. Then we both fix these issues, and I said this quite a few years ago about that. When you get to that issues, then the love and the power gets even stronger for it, and then the journey begins more smoother from then. And I think that will be the out of May tonight because this video can go on for this can go
We can
on.
do the next part tomorrow. We'll see.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
for people who are watching, if you want the next part tomorrow, let us let us know in the comments. We're gonna do the next part tomorrow. There will be more ideas. If
Yeah,
not, we'll pick some.
and if you guys got some more questions in there, please put it in the comments and we'll come out here and pop out for it. Okay, guys.
Mm.
From me, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate Grande. Thank you for the eyes in there and for the thumbs up. Laura, thank you. Thank you for the great questions and for it. And we appreciate you guys.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I was looking at the emoji that Lorna sent, but I don't know. This is like a heart from hands and some. I can see just the brown square, so I cannot see what was the emoji. But mystery. Um,
I don't know
it can
what
be
is this.
anything.
I don't know. I see it also as a brown square. It could be a some special thing.
I'm assuming that's avocado because I like always to see avocado. So that's yeah. All right. So thanks for coming, guys. Um, and thanks very much to Maria's Spark Mama. Was it right? Like I just took this
Maria
question
Spark,
from the group because I tend to go to the group. Sometimes I'm replying, but sometimes if I feel like that's a good topic because many people are asking about it, it's always good to discuss live.
Mhm.
Mm.
And the group,
Okay, so
the I Am Twin Flame group is very good. Sometimes we get in a very good um, very good questions for it and topics that has not been talked before because a lot of people talking about topics and we're trying to get at topics that has not been spoken, that have been talking, that has not been done it. or at least giving you a little bit more advanced stuff for you guys. So I want to say one more time, guys, thank you so much for coming and watching us. And here is a gift for you, a lot of love for you.
Thank
All
you very
right.
much. And guys, see you next time, maybe tomorrow, maybe. Yeah, probably, yes. I feel like we are in the flow. So thank you very much for your time.
Be love, guys.